Welcome to a new episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Ramon Casaus, sponsored by Lift Off Agent, your number one marketing position agency. Super excited. I have someone right now that we've been following each other on social media for quite a while. And I got to say, he's over here to my right. You could already tell who it is. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see his name here. But he's someone that definitely, I feel like, is a pioneer in the innovation of the real estate industry. I'm just put that out there. And I love what he's doing because right now he has Rock Real Estate Partners. He's working with and powered by Place, and also on top of all that, he's working with the BAM network and doing some really cool things over there with them. So we have the one and only Roman on the show. Welcome to Real Estate vs. Technology, man. I know we were just talking a little bit before we got on. Give you a little round of applause, man.
Thank you.
Of course, bro. So thanks for driving out. I know you're on the other side of Scottsdale, and I'm over here in Gilbert. What was the drive like for you?
About 40 minutes.
Oh man. All right. 40 minutes for the drive and 40 minutes for the show. So I got to say thanks, man. I appreciate you coming out. But yeah, so of course there's, they can obviously, people already know, they know your story, getting into the business in 2017, started a team really early, had a lot of failures, and you learn from that. And now you're a rock star, bro. You're crushing it, getting on some major stages, and then following you just got off of, I think, 2 big stages most recently, right?
Yeah, 2 recently. What's funny is that I was actually talking about it. The stages that you want those opportunities. But
yeah.
For me, when we just started saying, hey, what if we just focus on our business, on scale, on growth?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you're doing something that's either memorable or deserves recognition, you'll end up on the stage at some point.
Yeah.
So it's just funny that when you stop chasing it, it actually happened more.
That is awesome. I absolutely love that. Yeah. And it's interesting because I'm on the flip side. This year I was on a couple, but a lot less than normal. And so I was looking at you, hella envious, like, 2024, here we come. Let's go. Yeah. But at the end of the day, right, you can't push for it. I remember I was listening to you on another podcast. It's like a lot of agents get into business and they're just like trying, and you could just smell it. They're like commission breath. They're just trying to get that check because they just got their license or whatever the case may be. And I like how you said, just let it go and let it come to you. And actually, because of you, that's how I learned about Place. I didn't even know about Place until now, you being on the show.
Yeah. This isn't a Place endorsement. I feel like it is one of the best ways to position yourself competitively in the future real estate landscape as a team leader, as someone who wants to operate a profit and loss from your team. I don't know a better value proposition for someone. I love
that. And that's what we want to talk about in today's episode. So everyone who's listening in, be sure to subscribe, notification bell, and all the links are down below for Roman's social channel. So check him out. I want to go high level today because I feel like you are connecting to and around some individuals in the industry that are what's next for this industry. You see the broke agent, the BAM network, you see Place and what they're doing, you see Rock Real Estate Partners, what you're doing. You're around different people too that are really starting to catapult their businesses and having massive success. So let's talk a little bit about that. What do you think the roles play for a little bit of Place, a little bit of BAM? What do you think some of these roles play as far as I see that you're an advocate, and supporting and part of their brands. And what role do you play, and what do you see for these companies in this industry?
Yeah, for sure. So, what's interesting about both of those is they're obviously different business models, but they're polar opposite. Like BAM is, in my opinion, the best at marketing in real estate.
They're doing amazing.
Bottom line, in my opinion, collectively. We just spoke at their first event in Naples, Florida. It was awesome.
I've seen that.
It was like, that's number one. Super special to be a part of that.
That's awesome.
I just love what they're doing because they are really shaking up the industry when it comes to breaking the mold of these old school traditional legacy models.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen a lot of the stuff about NAR coming out. They're on the forefront of change in the industry, and I love what they're doing. They're disruptors. And then you have Place on the other side, which is also a disruptor in its own category.
I love that.
But when you talk about like brick and mortar, nuts and bolts of business. I think Place does it the best. So it's really cool when you can pair both of those, where you're getting a lot of the exposure, you're getting the best marketing practices, but you're pairing that with the tangible. How do you grow a sales team to create profit, scale that fits your lifestyle and ultimately what you want to earn? And
I love that.
So mirroring those or putting those together has been awesome.
I think what I see for the BAM network is, Inman's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that there's going to be a time, and who knows, maybe it'll be around forever. I don't know. But I just see kind of like the transfer for the BAM network is going to be something that's going to be more prevalent than what we've been seeing over the years prior.
Yeah, I think that, but also if you look at Inman, and I've been an avid reading Inman for my entire career. That's not for every agent.
Yeah,
it takes a special agent. Not saying I'm special, but I'm saying it does take a unique type of agent to read that content and genuinely understand it.
Yeah, agreed.
And so when you vertically integrated services, oh, and don't forget, also has about 150 million unique users monthly.
Wow.
The population in the United States, like 30, what is it, 370 million?
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's insane.
And so you look at that and you go, that's a pretty good value proposition. Like you just have to.
Yeah.
So I look at, okay, well, how can a team compete with that? And I saw that right now, we still piece all of our transactions together differently, different mortgage, different title, different insurance.
Exactly.
Every single time.
Yeah.
And so what Place's long vision is, which I agree with, is a all under one roof, in-house technology company that is able to bring a uniform transactional experience with it's all home services, but the big ones to start are mortgage, title, insurance, real estate agent, all under one roof, all under one piece of tech. And that is not a brokerage, it's a technology company that does have a future IPO and $100 million investment from Goldman Sachs.
Wow.
So when I just went super high level with that, but the long story short of it is the reason I was attracted to Place is because I think that in the future, it's not today, but it's coming, the consumer is going to demand a seamless, true seamless. I know there's been years who's going to do the first end-to-end transaction.
Yeah.
We're still working on it.
Exactly.
But I think that's going to be a requirement of the future. And I want to make sure I'm working on those things now.
Yeah, 100%. And just frame of reference from someone who's purchased multiple homes, the process is, it's lack thereof, if any. And it's like, you don't really have a system or a place to check everything. And you're like, well, where's this and where's that? And you're calling the agent and you're confused and all the things. And I like the idea of having everything in-house, tech first, where I can imagine there's a portal or something you could sign into and you could see the standard operating procedure and like A through Z, all the way from, pre-approved to offer accepted to closing, and all right, now get my keys on XY date or whatever the case may be.
And as an agent or a team leader, you also have profit share in those business and those ancillary services as well.
Interesting. That's big. So outside of just traditionally buying and selling and getting your commission for who's watching and listening out there, you can now also make some additional income from the profit sharing model from those services. That's huge.
You want to hear something funny?
Go ahead.
So do you know how much money was invested into real estate tech, into prop tech from 2020 until 2022, end of 2020, halfway through 2023?
Billions, I can only imagine.
Yeah, about 35 billion.
Holy moly.
Do you know what's hilarious about that is, so just to show tech doesn't solve all problems.
Yeah.
How do we get keys to people after they close?
Drop them off, drop them off, right?
Drop them off, we text, we call. It's funny to watch how we've put so much money into prop tech, yet at the end of the day, we still have the same exact on-the-ground processes.
Yeah.
So I think point I'm making is that I think Place does a very good job of mirroring what does the future tech look like, but how do we make it tangible to today's like how we're actually selling real estate? Yeah. Because if you think about it, a lot of tech spin it hasn't changed much. No. You think about how we do deals, it really hasn't changed that many things. No. So. Definitely not.
I think the biggest thing is, and one thing that we preach all the time from our sponsors, Liftoff Agent of the show, is that leveraging technology is great to be able to standardize the procedure of operation or to passively market a prospect, to a person, buyer or seller area, or even talking about like, here is the buying process, here is the selling process. But that human connection, I think, is always going to be there. So like going out to dinner, going out to lunch, handing the keys, taking a selfie, doing a video, I think that's always going to be there, because as human beings, I feel like we need each other. It's just the technology, for everyone's listening out there, can just help the ease and flow of the process. And I think that people don't understand in the space how that works. And I love what Place is doing and what you're all about, because that's also what Liftoff Agent wants to do as well, and is doing, is, hey, how do we profit share? So if someone does want to sign up for our services, great. Well, let's pay the customer that referred us a piece of that rev share model, and then just give the person who's signing up a piece of, the rev share model, so they have savings as well. And let's make it community based. Let's listen to the agents first and make sure that we always change it. So, in the industry, there's a lot of SaaS products, which is great, but that's great for the VCs and for the executives and for an exit strategy. But I feel like if you're trying to do something what Place is doing, you need more of that human, like at least for Liftoff, we want to have human connection, human touch, and we want to go deeper and really understand and offer a premium.
Yeah, I mean, it empowers teams and agents, right? That's what Place does. They empower them with tech, with economics, right? With economic models, etc. But the main difference of Place versus like an Open Door or Zillow is that it still all revolves. And I'm glad you said that. All revolves around the team leader and the agent still.
Love it.
They are the center of attention in the entire model. Unlike some of the other things that you're talking about, where it's like everything but the agent.
Yeah.
So Zillow, if you think about it, is everyone's just trying to carve their piece out of the $100 billion of commission every year.
Yeah.
Every model, every brokerage, every agent just clawing at that.
Yes.
The biggest piece of the pie. And if you think about it, how many are doing it at scale with actual agents?
So true.
Not many. And so you look at these other tech companies, like I use a lot Redfin, Open Door, and Zillow as my examples. But their job is not to help facilitate more business to real estate agents and teams.
Yeah.
It's to take business away.
Yeah.
That's just what it is, right? It's not a good thing, bad thing, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
And so I like that Place is one of the few companies that's a true partnership that is empowering teams and agents.
I love that. I love that. And I think on the psychology forefront as well, it's great for the viewers and listeners to have a understanding of how large this company is going to be, and utilizing some of those behemoths of companies can really put things in perspective for everyone who's listening and viewing, saying like, hey, Place could be definitely somewhere you want to go. Because I mean, looking at the opportunity of being a part of EXP or Real, and then also having Place be a part of that, and then you're rev sharing on multiple levels, that's awesome. Shout out to Sharon. He's a VP, vice president over there of Real Broker. So are you with EXP?
Yeah.
All right. So it's that's not even in the front line. I was confused at first. I was like, is it Place or is it EXP?
Well, Place, yes, because Place is broker inclusive. So
I love it.
There's we have partners with Real, partners with Coldwell Banker, Remax, EXP, any big Keller Williams.
Yeah.
All of them. So brokerage actually at Place is like the last part of the conversation.
Yeah.
That's not really a factor.
No. I love that too. And it's like barrier to entries. It's none. There's no barrier to entry. You don't care where you're at.
There is barrier to entry.
I heard about that.
Place partners with top 1% teams. So the minimum is 100 transactions or $1 million in GCI.
I love that.
And so what's cool is that like if you're a team, right, and your agents, day one, partnering with Place, you walk into the top 10% of all real estate. Like you get your whole community becomes people that are speaking the same language, have the same experiences, have same size of businesses.
Wow.
And from all over the country and all different brokerages. So like your network drastically expands with the right people day one.
Huge. Anyone who's listening out there, that saying that you're the sum of the top 5 people that you're around the most, and getting to the proximity of those that are going to be greater than yourself or that you have aspirations to achieve, that's huge. So that's another big thing about Place, as far as maybe someone out there who's listening to check them out, not just for the profit sharing side of things, but also and the tech side of things, but being able to be a part of that network. So when it comes to question, so the rev share model and having a piece, and I know I've heard you talk about when the profits are good, then everyone's sharing. When the profits are not so good, then everyone's losing, or vice versa. So is it a quarterly thing, annually thing? Do they pay out? How does that work?
Sure. So I'll explain the economic model high level. They have an awesome discovery process, which is about 3 or 4 different appointments with their leadership team.
Got it.
So I don't want to ruin it for anyone. But they do a better job than I do. But the long story short of it is, who Ben Kinney and Chris Suarez are? Yeah. Okay. So they both are co-founders of Place.
Got it.
I think Ben was at his height was doing 6,000 transactions a year annually.
Amazing.
A year, $50 million GCI.
Jeez.
And Chris wasn't too far behind. So these are the Michael Jordans of real estate teams.
Lead by example.
Right. So they come together and they go, hey, what if we take everything that we use to build the largest teams in the country? We take our recruiting, our lead generation, our onboarding, our technology, HR, finance, accounting, retention models, everything they did. We package it all under one roof, and we go partner with other top 1% teams that have the same vision of growing a team where they no longer have to sell real estate.
Huge.
At some point. Retirement, whatever you want to call it. And so the partnership is actually a true partnership. So you share in revenue, you share in expenses, and then there's a profit split. And that's done every month. So that's the biggest difference with Place, is that they don't just partner with you, put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
So if they're going to partner with you, if you guys make money, you make it together. If you lose money, you lose money together. They're just as monetarily invested in your business as you are.
I love that.
And so there's not a lot of things out there like that. Like coaching, for example, is great, but you pay somebody and they have no correlation to the outcome.
Exactly.
Right? There's no effect either way. They're getting paid. Whereas this partnership is they're 100% vested in your success.
I love that. That's huge. That makes a lot of sense. And that's where like the coaches are, it's a whole different subject matter, but coaches and then marketing firm and website. And there's so many different pieces. And that's where I think a lot of these agents have an issue where it's like, well, where do you go? It's like nice. Oh, look at this shiny object. And they're going to these different places. And that's where I feel like there needs to be more of an industry standard. And I'm very, very curious about the economics of what the future is going to look like with plays. And that's what we're looking at Liftoff is to say, hey, we'll coach you on program, making sure that you're seeing an ROI and maximizing the services. And then here's a playlist of now we're on YouTube, all the things that they need to watch and so they can digest. And it's all free. Even if you don't work with us, we don't care. Watch a lot of podcast episodes, meet people like Roman that can help you grow your business. So at the end of the day, it's a lot of question marks out there. That's why 90% of the business is done by the top 10%. We just lost 65,000 agents just because of the low inventory and the high interest rates. So it's changing quite a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting the dynamic between like marketing and agents. It's funny is that one of the mistakes, it's not necessarily a mistake, but things I would have done different. As I put at one point in my career, a heavy emphasis on marketing myself. And I agree that is important. You have to do that. But if you think about it, even the best products on earth that have the shittiest marketing, they still sell. I mean, it's because word of mouth ultimately is the exponential factor when it comes to
100%.
Right? So while marketing is important, if you have the best marketing but your product, aka you, still sucks at what they do, so there's this weird balance of remember you essentially are an asset manager, you're an asset transaction facilitator of assets. The asset is real estate. That's what you do, and it's usually in a geographic location. And that comes first because over time, there's actually, who Charlie Munger is? He has a great saying that your next client is on your desk. And what that means is we're always looking for the client who we haven't worked with yet. What he's saying is that the next person you're going to work with is going to come from the work you do for the person who's already on your desk. Either in terms of additional business from them or a referral.
100%.
And I think we overcomplicate it sometimes where we have product first, marketing second, in my opinion. Not saying marketing's not important, but I always give that comparison because I think it's so relevant.
100%. Round of applause. Come on now. And I like that because what we're doing is the sponsors Liftoff is going deeper with our current client set and saying, okay, the market's shifting. At the end of the day, instead of like turning up marketing, which we're not saying we're not going to do, but it's like turn up marketing and also go deeper with the client set and say, hey, let's reach out, let's talk, let's have conversations. What are you doing? How's your business? We know things are tightening up, and it's been great. It's been absolutely amazing, and our customers love that because you're right. At the end of the day, even if you work with a home buyer or a home seller, people forget you said did, but they won't forget the way you make them feel. So when you go deeper with those relationships and go pick up your kids, or I got you a gift for closing. Here's a dishwasher. Here's this or whatever. People remember that.
Even conceptually, yes, but then even statistically. When there was 6 million home sales completed in 2022, that equated to about 12 to 13 sides per agent. Okay, we're talking about closing out 2023 around 4 million. That equates to 7 to 8 sides available per agent. So that's almost half, right? So then, to your point, if there's less there's less conversations out in the world. Where are you going to get them from? And you're going to go deep with the people you are. That's how you're going to create that additional streams of business in these types of markets.
100%.
So, I'm glad you said that because I think conceptually, obviously makes sense. But statistically, it's like you got to know we're running an uphill race right now.
100%. And that's where I feel like you have Joe and Ash, or two doors down. Joe does mortgage. Ash is a real estate professional. She was on a team for 10 years and finally went off on her own. And she was talking about, and she's been doing all these open houses. So if you're holding open houses, this is just something that I would do personally, but she doesn't really do. She'll go in the house and she'll do videos and she'll market it a little bit. But go knock on all the neighbors' doors. Go make yourself known and just start conversations, because you never know. And I feel like it's one thing to listen to something on the news or on the media or whatever else. It's another thing when you have conversations and you really get to go deeper with people. And like, oh, this is what's going on. And you find out, oh, they're just people, and they're staying for a while. Or, oh, now they're going to be potentially moving in 30 days because they're downsizing, or whatever the case may be. Or even going deeper and doing like a twilight tour and say, hey, we have whatever restaurants, catering, bring the community together, twilight tour, everyone comes to the open house. And I feel like people need right now, because of the market shift, needs to get more creative with ways to be able to get themselves out there.
I agree with that. I also think that it's not that you're doing the wrong things, you just haven't been doing the right things long enough.
Yeah.
And so you take like open houses, for example, right? It's like me and you can hold the same open house and I can get drastically different results.
Oh my God, right? For sure.
So, I mean, number one is, are you looking at comps in the area prior? Are you door knocking? Are you circle prospecting?
Yes.
So before me and you even step in the door at the open house, I've already got an upper hand. So there's like little things. If you look at everything you do, like calling, right? Cold calling. Okay. Number one, are you actually making enough dials? Just bottom line. Number two, are you saying the right things? Right. Number three, are you asking for the business? And so most people will stop there and they'll go, oh yeah, it's not working. Okay. Well, what are some things you can improve?
Yeah.
Well, could you get better data? Right. So before you assume it could be the data, because if you're calling the right amount of times, you're saying the right things, you're asking for the business, well, then maybe it's the actual data you're using. Could you hire an additional person to make additional calls for you? There's so many things you can do within these basic, you can call them pillars of real estate business, right? Sphere of influence, outbound prospecting, open houses. And I think that a lot of times we veer away from them, but like to your point, it's just, could you do it more effectively?
Yes. I love that. So anyone who's listening right now or watching this, like, take some notes, right? It's one thing you're in the car, you're driving to work, you're in traffic, or whatever the case may be, you're at an open house, you're listening to this, but also really think to yourself and reflect. And I think that's the best way to grow, and that's what I love reading or listening to podcasts or watching them, is to self-evaluate and ask yourself, what could you guys and gals out there listening and viewing do to have more success with? You have to go deeper in these type of markets. We're not being fed like we used to before. We're not fat, dumb, lazy, and happy, or however that's said.
I mean, yeah, you just, I went over the size comparison, right? Yeah. And then you go over total home sales. You have extremely low mortgage demand. You have low inventory in terms of sales, actual pending transactions, some of the lowest recorded sales since 2009, 2008, 2010.
Yeah.
I mean, and you had interest rates that almost at this point getting close to triple.
Oh my God!
From their lows. So it's like, we're going into the winter months. I mean, we're shooting this in, what is it, October? We're going into, statistically, there's less homes bought and sold in the winter months. We all know that, right? It's just what it is. So I mean, we're really running, if you think about it, we're running the same race, except this time it's uphill.
Yes.
And so when it's uphill and you want to run at the same amount of time, aka make the same amount of money, you got to run faster.
You do. You have to run faster, and you have to go wider to catch as much fish, if you will, or prospects, opportunities as you can. So kind of shifting a little bit into your business. So talk a little bit about the BAM network, talk a little bit about what's going on with some of your partners there. How's things work with your company and what you're up to and the partners? And so you had 60 at that time. How many agents do you have now? That's
on our roster, we sit around 40 today.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So, we're definitely, we're feeling, like everybody, I think we're feeling the effects of the market.
Yeah.
We're turning over our roster. I mean, I'd say we probably turn it over 80% every 4 to 5 months.
Wow.
Almost. It's just,
nature of the beast.
Nature of the beast right now. And especially now when things need to be more organized and very straightforward, right? Like your mistakes aren't hidden by padded profit right now.
Yes.
They're evident. And so we're very particular with the people we're bringing in, because in order to get through these types of times, you need to have a very together force.
Yes.
And so the slack we're letting go. And in isolation, it's not the right fit, but letting go pretty frequently.
I 100% understand and agree. One of our clients, Kenny Fast and Team Fast, right? So they're crushing as well, and they're going through a lot. And so I actually have a meeting with Elias, I think today or tomorrow. Today. So, but yeah, it's a crazy turnover. And even on Lift Up agent side as well, we're seeing a lot of agents wanting to downsize or downgrade, or looking at options, but also like we're going deeper, like I said. And at the end of the day, saying like, hey, you know, you need to go deeper as well as a real estate agent out there, and make those calls, get on social media, do your passive prospecting, get on YouTube, think of new strategic ways to be able to grow. But this is great because if 90% of the business is done by the top 10% of real estate professionals, now we can start to, if you will, trim the fat and really, because that's the thing, like you said earlier in the show, you know, and this is what I tell agents all the time. The last thing you want to do, and we've seen this in and out, is that the consumer, the buyer, the seller of a home is educating the agent. Hey, are you going to boost this on your social media channels? Hey, are you going to be doing a video walkthrough tour or putting on YouTube? Like anyone who's listening out there and you've had that happen before, it's like, it's a problem. Like these agents, like, you know, in all due respect, need to step their standards up and wow people. So that way they feel like, whoa, like I've never, like, red carpet, treat them like they're freaking the president of the United States. That's how I like to operate. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you want something to drink when you first came in, and you know, your house, my house, Sukasi, whatever, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
I think it makes a big difference out there. And I think that's what's shifting the most in this industry, especially with the changing times. So we wish anyone out there massive success no matter what. And that's why we're doing the show, to be able to add additional value. But well, what does it look like as far as your goals, as far as the company? Do you want to have a certain amount of agents? Or you just want a certain amount of families on the buy side, sell side?
Yeah, I mean, you know, from 2016 to last year, we increased our production by 100 units every year. So we closed out 2022 with 500 families served.
Congratulations.
Great year. You know, probably not going to do that this year, unfortunately. Yeah. But no, you know, for me, it's not really, I lost my attachment to agent count and markets a little while ago.
Yeah. So
for me, it's more of profit and loss, right? The only numbers that really matter to me are total GCI and net profit. But one number that I'm really focused on, and I think that this number, if this continues to tick in the upward direction, I think that all the other metrics will solve themselves. And that's what is my average agent net profit on my team?
Interesting.
So if you work at our company, what's the average person taking home? Like, and that number is really important because I think that number will tell you if it's all part-time people, if they're going to be leaving soon. Like, you know, if there's not enough money there, it's not going to happen. And so that number I'm focused on raising at all times. I'd like to have everyone netting 100 grand or more.
I love that.
On our team. So that's been a goal of ours for a while that we've been continuously working for.
There you go. So if you work with Roman, you're going to be making $100,000 a year. That's bare minimum.
100K club.
100K club. Let's go. And we have some other partners you work with as well to be able to have some additional passive income. And I also see that you're in the investment side as well. Yeah. So I see you were posting yesterday on your stories about signing up for newsletter for investment opportunities, off-market properties. Yep. Are you also doing long-term, short-term? Fixed flip? Yeah, so that's a great question. Actually, one of the things I'm doing with BAM that Tess and I are actually launching a course on is on how to regularly invest in single-family real estate as a real estate agent. I love that.
And all the different strategies like that have helped me with doing what I already do day to day. Like, I'm not changing much. Yeah. But I know how to strategically find the deals now and leverage my networks and teams and investors, etc.
Love it.
So teaching all the different scenarios, all the different debt products, all the different ways to structure deals, creative finance, all that good stuff. So I do that personally on my own, just for my own real estate investing. We're building a course on that. And then one of the big, I wouldn't say change, but one of the pivots we made in our market, especially in the Albuquerque market, was starting really to include because we have a residential, commercial, and then we also are now adding on a whole investments division.
Nice.
And our goal is to have residential investment and commercial in all of our markets. So here, Denver, Scottsdale, Albuquerque, and then Denver.
Got it.
But is building out that where we are essentially taking similar strategy of marketing dollars, outbound phone calls, networking, just like you do to get retail sales, but applying that to the investment world. Not only for our agents to continue to be able to buy properties for themselves, but also just to service another market, because while there is a lot of, I say, scarcity mindset in the market, there's also a ton of opportunity for people who are buying a lot of real estate right now. So we've been really working on that side of our business. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And just something I want to put out there for our viewers and listeners is that if you're dealing with the highs and lows of the industry because all you do is transact, that's traditionally what you do. You work with buyers and sellers. my sister-in-law, God bless her, Michelle Lewis, she's with Cole Banker over in the Bay Area outside of Blackhawk, California. And you feel more of that, and you listen and you hear. But when you're talking about investing and having doors and having, whether it's Airbnb for short-term or long-term investment properties, and you have steady cash flow, plus you're seeing equity being built, you don't have to 100% rely on the buy side, the sell side, and the traditional transaction side. That's additional on top of, like, I can imagine now with your investments, you're probably making more on that side, or, the potential to make more is greater than traditionally transacting.
My dollar per hour is higher.
There you go.
Yes. But I think, that's the thing for agents is like, you got to start now.
Yeah.
Because you're right about the compounding effect of interest and appreciation, all these different things. And, I said it on, I think one of the videos you might be referencing was yesterday, where I said, you have to stop adjusting your long-term plan for short-term circumstances.
Yes.
I'm closing on, 8 doors later this week, and I'm paying 8% interest on it. But it's a deal, and I know it's a deal. And even you have to still channel out the noise, use your common sense. But I think delaying purchasing real estate, it's not about timing the market, it's about timing the market.
Exactly.
And it's unfortunate. It's one of the things I noticed early on is that I thought everyone owned real estate. Genuinely, my naive.
Wait, what?
You all own doors, right? Why would you not be buying these things?
Exactly.
They get more valuable over time.
Yeah.
And I found out that wasn't very common. And I started learning why. And that's what we addressed in the course. How do we overcome the most common reasons why you don't have, $500, $1,000, $2,000 of passive income right now? It's something I'm really passionate about personally, and also an obligation that I feel for agents that are in our organization.
Oh, yeah.
Is I have to be the person that helps them facilitate and bring those investments into their world. I think it's just the right thing to do for agents. Yeah,
100%. And it'll help too with whether growing your team. It'll help the industry as a whole. And I feel like if anyone who's working with an agent, they should already, as a real estate professional, you should already buy your first home or have an investment property to talk more eloquently about that process. Because as soon as we retired my wife from teaching, she had cash sitting there. I was like, well, what are we doing with it? I said, let's get going. So we started fixing flipping. And so we're on to our 5th property, more mobile home, because there's 65 plus retirement communities out here. So we went more mobile home. Her father's 55 plus. And then anyone who's listening right now, Airbnb is super simple. Like this house here is 6 bedrooms. We don't need 6. And when we don't have guests, we just Airbnb one of the rooms. Back in March, we got $2,700 for one room. Plus, we rent another room because we do a lot of traveling. So we made $800 on one, $2,700 another. Our rent, we're at what, $1,780 a month and $2.75. So the house paid us to live in it, right? And it's like we have guests here right now you would never even know. And it's like, if you're listening to this right now, house hack, start with that, right? And then you can always go, and then we're going to put an ADU in the backyard, and this house pays $6,000 a month, and then go on Strawberry, get a plot place up there, and there's so much opportunity. I think people are so.
That's called being resourceful.
Yes.
That's called being creative and being resourceful.
Yes.
What's interesting thing you said about cash is that I think this is one of the big mindset shifts for agents is that cash, when I started, made me feel really good when it's in the bank. I'm like, dude, I got $100,000. Like I thought I was a billionaire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I can do anything.
I was there.
And what I started figuring out was this, is that, do you know what the cumulative inflation rate was from 2017 to today?
No.
Now, this is based on the CPI, and that's a whole other consumer price.
Yeah.
It's a whole other rabbit hole to go down.
Oh, that story.
It was about 25%.
Wow.
So what that means is that your $100,000 that you were so happy to have in 2017 sitting in your bank account in cash today is worth about $75,000.
Nothing. Losing.
So if you think about it, if you didn't increase your cash income or cash balance by 25% over the course of that 5 years, so you actually have less money than you did then. And once you understand that inflation is a silent killer that's just eating away at your cash every single day. It's the opposite of appreciation. It's depreciation. You get less with what you have.
Yep.
As soon as you figure that out, the cash in the bank account doesn't feel that good anymore.
No.
I see it as like a red, like when the stock market's going down, there's like red arrows.
Yeah.
That's how I see it when I look at my bank account. Now, again, this isn't saying spend every last dollar you have.
Yeah.
But, within reason. But you having cash sitting, it's not working. It's actually decreasing value on sitting there.
100%. And that's where I feel like a lot of individuals, they trade their time for money. Then they go and get into real estate. So whoever's in real estate, congratulations, you get your license. You want to be the boss. You don't want to work for the boss anymore. But now you're still trading your time per deal, and then you're still dealing with the, like you were saying, the inflation problem, money sitting in the bank, it's not doing anything. You need to have cash flow, then you have to have long-term for depreciation write-off, and this year it's going to be crazy because we have those flips and we don't really have too much at the write-off. So Jan 1st, we're going to Oklahoma for a couple properties over there. But I love that 100%. And that's where I feel like I don't like money sitting in the bank either. I liquidated some of my investments and bought a GTR. I'm like, going to put this into this, and I know it's going to go up, and I'm going to have fun and go to car shows, and inspire other people, grow my network, and it's worked great.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much more opportunities out there than having to sit.
Yeah. No, it's a big problem. I'm glad I'm happy that we've taught a lot of people and have continued to. And, you know, the thing about investing too, single family, I always preach this to agents, is start with single family. It's the path of least resistance.
That's so true.
It's the most easy thing to understand, right? Like, it's cash flow. It's a long-term tenant. Yeah, there's property management, but that's minor, and you can outsource that.
Yeah, 10%.
Like, just focus on the asset you already know, because the best investment you're gonna make is the way to fuck up.
Yeah,
right? That's gonna be the one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, start there, and then of course, sure, could you get into multifamily and commercial, and could you get into land leases and all the Airbnb? Like, you can start doing more, but like, start there. And really identify what is it you're looking for, and the asset class that you know the most about is the one you're going to be able to make the most informed student.
I love that 100%. Don't get a fix and flip. Don't do what I did. It's complicated. I got a property sitting in the market right now, and it's just like 100 grand sitting there. All right, so we have a hard stop here for today's episode. We're already 40 minutes in, and almost the same amount of time that took you to drive here. But man, Roman, this has been an amazing podcast. I really appreciate your time. I'm going to put the camera angle on you. We always like to end the episode with, obviously you added tons of value. So go back to the podcast, listen to it, go down below, click the links, go follow this man. But what is the last thing you want to leave for our viewers and listeners as we close out today's show?
Oh man, that's a good one. Is there like can I get a prompt?
A prompt.
My mind's spitting.
I know, right?
Types of things.
A prompt. Something that someone could let's stick it in like the investment world. They're a real estate agent. They got some money sitting. The market is where the market's at right now. What would maybe be a good next steps to invest into cash flow property?
Yeah. So next steps, in my opinion, if you have cash sitting, would be really identify what type of return, what are you looking for, what type of asset. Again, if we talk about single family, from there, I would look at, what is the cash requirement to buy this property, and what is the estimated rental rate versus what my payment would be. And just you don't have to buy that one, but just studying deals on a regular basis and going through, here's what I bought it for, here's what my cash in would be, here's what my payment would be, plus taxes and interest. Here's what I think it would rent for. Here's accounting for property. Man, these are just simple equations.
Love it.
On a regular basis, doing this. And again, if a 20% down conventional loan at 8% isn't going to work, if nothing can pencil in your market, well, then you just have to find a different entry strategy.
I love that.
But starting analyzing deals on a regular basis as if you're going to buy them. And you'll start figuring out, and obviously when our course comes out, get that, we'll help you with it too.
Let's go.
That would be my advice to start acting like you're ready to buy today and start analyzing deals.
Let's go. I love that. And at the end of the day, I mean, cash flow $500-600 a month, plus being able to write off depreciation, plus being able to see the equity grow, so you're not losing that 20% because you're fighting inflation. Roman, thanks so much for being on the show. This has been a pleasure. It's nice to get you offline because everything's just been online, kind of checking each other out. This is the first time we've actually met, and been able to vibe out with each other. So thanks again. Appreciate you. And thanks to all of yours listeners, as it is our intention for you to take things from our episode, apply to your business, have more massive success. Comment below what you learned. What was a big takeaway so Roman could see the takeaways? Go follow this gentleman. Thanks, Liftoff, for sponsoring, and we'll see you all on the next one.